Good evening. I am the Keeper, and you are listening to the Deadlight Codex. This is the account of a woman we'll call the protagonist. She moved into an old house, nestled in a small town that time seemed to have forgotten. Initially, she thought the whispers she heard at night were just echoes. The house was old, with walls too thin to hold secrets, but the voices grew clearer, more insistent. It was as if the walls themselves were trying to speak to her, revealing a past intertwined with the present. The protagonist found herself drawn to the whispers, pressing her ear against the walls each night. They weren't just random noises, they were conversations. She could make out fragments of sentences, names she didn't recognize. "No one must know," one voice would say, followed by another's hushed agreement. It was unsettling, yet she couldn't stop listening. Each word felt like a piece of a puzzle she was compelled to solve. The house seemed alive, its history breathing through the creaking wood and peeling wallpaper, as if urging her to dig deeper. One evening, as the rain tapped against the windows, the voices became clearer than ever. They spoke of a pact, a secret agreement made long ago. Names mentioned were local, tied to families still living in the town. It was as though the house wanted to reveal a truth buried beneath years of silence. The protagonist felt a chill run down her spine. Why was she hearing these things? And why now? The whispers were no longer a curiosity. They were a chilling invitation to explore further, to uncover what lay beneath the surface. Determined to uncover the truth, the protagonist began researching the house's history. She visited the local library, combing through old newspapers and town records. Patterns emerged, mysterious disappearances, unexplained accidents, and always the same families mentioned. The whispers now had context, and the protagonist realized she was living in the epicenter of something sinister. Every article seemed to point back to the house, as if it were the heart of the town's buried secrets. The walls, once mere barriers, now felt like conduits of hidden knowledge that demanded exposure. Late one night, the voices became a cacophony, overlapping in a jarring symphony of secrets. The protagonist could almost feel the tension in the air, as if the house itself was on edge. The conversations hinted at a gathering beneath the town's surface, a place where the pact was renewed in secret. Her heart raced as she pieced together the clues. A hidden chamber, perhaps beneath the very floor she stood on. The house was drawing her in, daring her to uncover its deepest mystery, a mystery that could change everything. As the nights wore on, the protagonist began to notice changes in the town. People avoided her gaze. Whispers followed her in the streets. It was as if they knew she was close to discovering something forbidden. The feeling of being watched was constant, an unshakable presence lurking at the edge of her perception. She could sense the town's collective unease, a tension that mirrored the whispers from her walls. It was clear. Whatever secret lay hidden, it was fiercely protected by those around her, desperate to maintain the facade. Driven by an insatiable curiosity, the protagonist decided to explore the basement of the house. It was a place she had avoided, feeling an unease she couldn't quite explain. Descending the creaky stairs, the air grew colder, the darkness more oppressive. Her flashlight beam revealed old furniture, cobwebs, and a heavy trapdoor concealed beneath layers of dust and debris. Her heart pounded in her chest. There was something beneath the house, something the whispers hinted at, and she was about to uncover it, as if fate had led her there. With trembling hands, the protagonist lifted the trapdoor, revealing a narrow tunnel leading further underground. The air was thick with the smell of earth and must, and the whispers seemed to echo from its depths. Steeling herself, she entered the tunnel, her flashlight casting long shadows on the damp stone walls. Each step felt like a step away from the known world and into the heart of the town's darkest secrets. The whispers grew louder, guiding her deeper, as if urging her onward, into the unknown. At the end of the tunnel, she found a small chamber, its walls lined with old photographs and artifacts. The whispers were almost deafening now, a chorus of voices recounting the pact that bound the town. The photographs depicted generations of townsfolk, their eyes seeming to follow her every move. In the center of the room was a worn table upon which lay an ornate, dust-covered book. The protagonist hesitated, knowing that opening it might uncover truths she could never unsee or unhear, truths that could alter her perception forever. Taking a deep breath, the protagonist opened the book. Its pages were filled with names and signatures, documenting the pact that had kept the town in its grip for decades. The whispers now spoke of loyalty and sacrifice, of secrets kept to protect something greater. As she flipped through the pages, the weight of the town's history pressed down on her. She realized that by discovering these secrets, she had become part of the story. The house had chosen her to bear its truths, binding her to its legacy. Emerging from the tunnel, the protagonist felt the cool night air on her skin, a stark contrast to the oppressive atmosphere below. The whispers were silent now, their secrets resting in her mind. She stood in the moonlight, pondering the weight of what she had discovered. The town remained unchanged, yet she saw it differently, every shadow and whisper telling a story she could now understand. The house still loomed behind her, a guardian of its mysteries, but she knew she was forever altered by its revelations. That's where the account ends, whether by choice or otherwise. The protagonist left the chamber, the voices now silent in her mind, but their secrets forever etched in her memory. She never spoke of what she found, but the town's people seemed to understand. Their whispers followed her wherever she went, a reminder of the pact that bound them all. Some stories don't end. They just stop being told. And if you're smart, you'll let them lie in silence where they belong, away from the light of day.